That this bill amounts to a form of declaration that homosexuality is morally or socially equal to heterosexuality, and we insist that this is wrong. Lifestyle is what they want. And our answer to that question is no, a thunderous and decisive no.
Justice, 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 justice.
There's been a warfare against us, a biological warfare, and a psychological warfare, and a physically violent one. And to me, the wonder of us all is how we keep loving, which has earned us so many penalties.
You have a tendency to cower and to shake and to really not stand up for yourself and the fact that you are a human being first, and that people have to give you that respect, and you've got to fight for it. This is the way it is. It's ugly, you know, it's sad, but that's the way it is for now. We're changing it.
See, what's happening because of this dialogue is the supporters of this exhibit are trying very hard to polarize opinion and to make everyone opposing them appear to be bigoted, extremist, radical, reactionary. And that's unfortunate for people like myself. I'm just here because I have children that I'm supposed to raise up in this state. So I'm sorry that those opposed to this exhibit are being painted as being right-wing and reactionary. We are just in favor of traditional Judeo-Christian values.
America stands for freedom, for justice, equality, standing up for what you believe in, being who you want to be. That, to me, is value. That, to me, is and should only remain the only values in this country.
What do you think, as we're all holding free speech signs up here, what do you think about ACT UP's, or whoever, the crowd here's choice to yell shame to the point where it was difficult for that man to even hear himself speaking?
Well, I think that's the only way we can get our point across. People don't want to hear us otherwise. They don't give us the media coverage. The Boston Herald and the Globe do not let us have any kind of rebuttals to any kind of editorials whatsoever. It's the only way we're going to be heard. It's the only way, and that's the way it's got to be done. That's the way it's going to continue to be done that way until we get noticed and heard and people start showing us respect that gay people deserve.
What these shows do, and there's a float over here that has a coffin full of all the things that have been censored in the past, and it really, the mainstream needs that to define itself. A lot of things that are considered outrageous are then absorbed into the mainstream later on. It's a very important cultural thing that's happening, and I think the more dialogue, the better. And one of the problems with some of these other groups, Families First, etc., is that they're trying to shut down a dialogue that's really important.
Censorship has nothing to do with the controversy here. The controversy has to do with how this exhibit was funded and how this museum is funded. The controversy has to do with the fact that $30,000 of taxpayer money, which could have been used to pay for teachers and arts programs in public schools, were used to put frames around these hideously obscene pictures. I mean, I must tell you that I saw those pictures and I felt sort of sickened. I felt...
So disturbing. Why are so many people going to see it?
Do you feel that that's part of what art is all about, though? That
No. I think art should elevate, should educate, should beautify, and should challenge in a constructive way. This is not constructive art. This is degrading art.
So what did you think of the photos? It's very erotic. It celebrates sexuality. And I think it's one of the few photographers I've ever seen who really celebrates the beauty of the male body. And I think that's what's so frightening for some of these other groups who are protesting against it. I mean, it's okay to see images of women in fashion magazines and billboards everywhere in compromising positions, but I think it makes some of these people very vulnerable to see the male body vulnerable and exposed in an open way.
I'm David Ross, director at the Institute of Contemporary Art in Boston.
So where do you see the conversation that's been begun by this show going?
I think it's opened up a lot of issues, and I believe that open discussion is very healthy. I think a lot of people are having to confront their homophobia, their fear of sexuality, their racism, and even though that's not what Mapplethorpe's exhibition is about, the debate that's circled the exhibition has raised those issues in a way that I think is extremely healthy and productive for our community.
I'm joined here by Anne McGuire and Paul McGuire of the Irish Lesbian and Gay Organization. Unless we all work together to put an end to discrimination based on race, religious faith, national origin, age, physical ability, and sexual orientation, the future of our city will be bleak. But working together, as we are, to fight discrimination, our future is bright. Division 7 of the New York County Board of Ancient Order of Hibernians has extended an invitation to the Irish Lesbian and Gay Organization to join them as the 11th marching unit in the 230th annual St. Patrick's Day Parade. That's the line for applause, folks.
We're Irish! It's fair! Get used to it! It's a parade. Get used to it! We're Irish! We're queer! Get used to it! We're Irish! We're queer! Get used to it!
Oh, you said use 10th Street, and then just have each patrol go as far as they want? Like, you could go to
These two areas, they're really close to each other.
What made you think of the name the Pink Panthers?
Well, there have been several Panther groups. There were the Black Panthers, the Gray Panthers, and they were all patrols.
If you see a gay basher, who do you call when you see it?
Well, the police, 911.
And they come right away?
Well, they're supposed to come right away.
Most of the time they do come. In the event they don't, we just try and keep the situation stabilized.
We would like to know why you feel the Pink Panthers patrol is important.
Well, it's important because people can walk the streets and feel a little more safe. And know that there's a presence out here, there's a gay presence out in the village trying to help and sort of taking back our streets.
How do you feel about gay bashing in general?
Oh, well, it's just, it makes me sick. I was attacked when I was 18 years old by a car full of baseball bat wielding people from wherever, Brooklyn, Queens, I don't know, but there was nobody out on the street doing this. And then I was lucky because I was in front of a bar and I ran into the bar. And we can talk about the cause of why gay bashing has risen until we're all blue in the face, has risen, and it doesn't make any difference. It's just happening, it's happening more, and it's got to be stopped. When you get to the point where you're afraid to go to a bar because you may be going home at 2 o'clock in the morning and somebody's going to, come after you, that's crazy. We had gained a lot of ground politically and with social acceptance until the onset of the AIDS crisis, and the average moron in the United States immediately blames gay men for that, and that's not true. And I think a rise in the fear of AIDS and how it's spread, or the lack of information about that, has made us a visible target again.
The attack is aimed at my children. If my children are attacked, I am attacked, and I must take due recourse to that attack. That's right. How are my children attacked? 2 ways that I see. First, by the effect of government stamp of approval on homosexuality. A young mind will think that homosexuality is okay because its city government has said so. The second attack on my children will be even more direct and more powerful. It will come in the form of a homosexual teacher. Not that I am saying that a homosexual teacher will try to seduce my children, and yet I do believe that's true. But aside from that issue, think of the effect of a homosexual teacher on a student.
I obviously don't want children taught that the gay and lesbian lifestyle is natural or normal. It is not. It never has been, and it never will be.
I survived.
I obviously don't want children taught that the gay and lesbian lifestyle is natural or normal.
I survived, but a hell of a lot of people don't, and there's going to be nowhere for people to turn.
The idea is that we want to have a conversation with you. We're not here to lecture to you. We're not here to tell you what to think. We're here to give you a chance to ask us questions. We're here to be guinea pigs for you, because I am a lesbian.
And I'm a gay man.
So mostly what we want to do today is answer your questions. So as we go along, think of questions you might want to ask. Then we're going to tell you a little about our lives, so you have some basic information about us. And then most of this, as quickly as we can get through that first stuff, will be question and answer. This is what we'd like you to agree to. No censorship. Complete honesty. We do not want you to be afraid of offending us by asking us anything. There is nothing you can ask us that we haven't been asked before. There is nothing you can say that will upset us. We truly want to hear what's really on your mind and what your real questions are.
So what we want you to do is come up with an uncensored list of all the words that come to mind when you see or hear the word homosexual. Report to us what you've heard. No censorship.
I got disgusting.
Disgusting.
Yeah.
Pride.
Sorry?
Pride.
Pride? Yeah. Go.
Faggots.
Faggots? Faggots. Yeah.
Ew.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. This is a good, concise list that pretty much covers, you've got references to anal intercourse, you've got images like fairy and lessee and bulldagger, drag queen. You've really got the range of things here. Rejection is an interesting one too, and tricksters I think is very interesting.
We're going to leave the list, but one of the things to keep in mind about the list is we did ask you for everything. And we didn't really come up with a lot of positive images. And these are the images that gay and lesbian people hear all the time. It's the images I heard as I was growing up. And it does make, sometimes, gay and lesbian people feel very bad about themselves.
What does it mean to be a lesbian? All right, for me it means
to be isolated, scared, but then again proud, free. More aware of things. That's what it means for me. Okay, I'll tell you why scared. Because for me, the way I act and the way I like to dress, I get scared of being pointed out. But sometimes people have a knack of looking at certain things on a person and says, well, yeah, they must be gay or they must be a lesbian, and that still scares me. Why I say proud? Because I know I'm not the only one, and I know there's places I can go where there's lots of gay and lesbian people that hang out. Proud because I don't have to, keep it a secret. Because one thing, I think the most things my mother knows, and that right there makes me proud because she supports me. And also, I can be who I want to be.
You don't grow up and choose your feelings. You don't grow up and change because of something happening to you. You grow up and gradually discover who you are. But say you're me, and you're 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, beginning to be aware of sexual feelings, but slowly beginning to realize, to discover that the feelings I was having were for other girls. How did I feel about myself, especially at that age, thinking this might be me?
Like most people, I had a crush. It started in 1978 when I was in kindergarten. They were twins, and I was a tomboy. I always thought of real clever things to say, like, I love you.
My true feelings are queers. They can do what they want as long as they don't do it around me.
But the problem is they're going to end up doing it around you. I mean,
if they start once, they're going to keep on doing it till
I mean, what would you do if a queer came up and made a pass at you? Wouldn't you be kind of offended?
I hit him.
I'm going somewhere.
Well, see, that's getting into our rights too. When they come up and start doing that to us. I mean, I know a guy that was at the laundromat the other day, minding his own business, and a faggot come up to him and started making a pass out at him. Now, wouldn't that kind of make you sick?
God made Adam and Eve, not Eve and Eve, or Adam and Adam. I'm just going to let them live on their own life. And I mean, just because somebody comes up and offers, like, makes a pass at you, what's the difference in like a prostitute walking up, and offering services or something? That would offend me just as bad. If a gigolo come up to me and ask me that. And then if a girl come up and made a pass at me. I walk down the street and I see two males, like you say in San Francisco. If we don't be against this, it's going to be just like that. But I see two gay men hugging each other and kissing. It just makes me sick to my stomach.
Okay.
And I think that is taking away my rights.
What would you do if you found out President Reagan was homosexual?
I'd try to shoot him.
You'd try to shoot him?
I believe that if President Reagan was a faggot, we would get him out of office.
I think the question here is not really for or against, but should we let these people live their own lives, or should we just not? And I personally don't think that we have no place to judge these people on how they should live their lives. I mean, this is supposed to be America, home of the free, land of the brave, or whatever. I mean,
it don't say land of the gay though.
I remember a time I was about 15 years old. My aunt, I was living with my aunt in Florida. She suspected that I was gay. And she went around and she told my father. And my father was like, just like looking at her like, what, are you crazy? And I kind of guessed maybe I knew at the time. And they were like, well, he kept on asking me, are you gay? Are you gay? I'm like, no. And he'd be like, well, see, you know, you're wrong and this and that. And my aunt, I don't know, it's funny. I hated my aunt for that, you know, because I just felt like she had no right or she had no business saying something to my father or whatever, you know. It's like, I don't know. There's no reason why I should live a lie and make somebody else happy knowing that I'm not feeling that way, you know. I'd rather just come out and tell the truth and be happy about myself. And, you know, if I hurt somebody, you know, what could I do? You know, this is me. You know, take it or leave it.
Glory be to the Father, and to the Son, and to the Holy Spirit.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with
Against the wickedness and the snares of the devil. God rebuke him, we humbly pray.
For 14 years, they've been desecrating that cathedral. It's time to stop. Put them on the sidewalk, on the road, and make them conform to the rules and regulations to stop all those desecrating acts. They're against the Bible. God is against them.
You grow up as a Catholic, and as a matter of fact, you only really have sex to have children. You know, you don't have sex before marriage, only have sex to have children. So if you're lesbian and you're not going to get married and you're not having sex to have children, then you must be, you know, triply in danger of mortal sin.
If you performed any type of oral sex, you could go to prison from 3 to 15 years. Anal sex in the state of California, even between a husband and wife, would get you 3 years to life. It was open-ended. You didn't have to be gay or lesbian. My attitude was the state has no business in my bedroom, and I'm not going to permit them to do that. I'm going to live and be who I am. We finally broke the back of our laws in the state of California when I and my lover, 2 women and a man and a woman, went down and confessed to these terrible, horrible crimes that on or about May 1972, we performed these awful acts in the privacy of our bedrooms. And we had a friend who, when the police wouldn't arrest us, did a citizen's arrest, took us to the district attorney's office in LA County. He refused to accept us, saying those laws would no longer be honored in the state or in the county of Los Angeles. And it only took us then 6 months before the state legislature changed the laws pertaining to sex between consenting adults.
Yeah, I'll get married and wear an apron like my mother. Only my husband will be handsome. Why don't you marry me? I'm not handsome, but I'm pretty.
Down in New Orleans where the blues are born, it takes a blue cat to blow.
Says who? It's a rule.
God in this company of loved ones, I ask you, Russell, is it your wish from this day forward to share your life in all of its aspects with Paul?
It is.
I ask you, Paul, is it your wish from this day forward to share your life in all of its aspects with Russell?
It is.
It's more than you, it is more than me. No matter where we are a family.
On Wednesday, we made a little history here in Massachusetts.
That inevitably you did more than pass an historic bill. You did something to change the institutions who had to consider the legislation. You changed the state Senate for the better. orientation is wrong. We all know that. But thankfully, today, after today, it will be illegal.
We are so much more than just you and I. We are a family, like a giant tree, growing stronger, growing wiser, and we are growing free.
It took 17 years, but on Wednesday, October 18, 1989, Massachusetts became the second state in the nation to sign into law a gay and lesbian rights bill. The following Friday, the gay and lesbian community was invited to Faneuil Hall for a celebration and signing of their own, of a slightly enlarged reproduction of the bill.